Hi everyone, it's Niall from amstradnoob.com, and today we're going to take a look at this M4 board, see how to set it up and have a look at the features. So before we get started, I want to show you what a configured M4 board actually looks like. And this one, I've preloaded it with some 4 ROMs, and I've upgraded the basic version of this 464 to basic 1.1, as you can see there. This is the board itself on the back of the 664 or 464. And on this side here, you've got the Wi-Fi antenna. There is a USB port here. On the right side is the LED to tell you that it's on. There's a reset switch and a CPC reset switch. So the top reset switch is for resetting the M4 itself when you, for example, update the basic ROM. And the other switch is for resetting the CPC. You can also just about make out an SD card that I have there. It's 32 gigs of space, and I've basically copied a bunch of games and stuff onto that in order to test the M4 board. So actually what I'm going to do now is take that one out, plug it into my computer, and format it and start from scratch, and hopefully show you how you can get your M4 board into this state. So what you can see here is the SD card from my M4 board. I've already configured it at this point, and these are the sort of files that have ended up on it. The M4 directory itself contains some config files and so on, which govern how it works, and then the games directory is just a directory that I created when I copied over some games. I've already blogged how to do this, so you can refer to that. Let's just bring that up. So if you go to amstradnoob.com, you'll see there's 2 posts directly about the M4 board. The first is this one, First Looks, and that explains how to get it up and running, and that's what we're going to be going through now. And the next blog post is how to change the ROMs on that device. So to start off with, you're going to need an SD card. And it has to be formatted FAT32. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll format this one. And as you can see, it says FAT32. The default would probably be NTFS. Make sure it's FAT32, give it a name that's useful, and then click Start. Remember, formatting it will of course remove everything that's on that card. So all the cool things that you've done with your M4 prior to that will be gone. I'm just doing this just to show you how it works, and let's give it a go. So now we should have a formatted card. Let's verify that. So here is our formatted card, and there's nothing on it, as you can see. So the next step now is to insert that into the SD slot on the Amstrad itself and start configuring it. So let's do that. All right, so as you can see, the CPC is already on. What I'm going to do now is just turn it off and disconnect the M4 board. I'm going to insert the SD card like so. Hopefully that's the right way. Let's try this way. There. Okay, so it's sitting tight now, and let's plug it back in to the CPC. And that's done. Now we can turn it on. That's better. Okay, so now we see the M4 board is listed there. Make sure you see that before you continue. We can also see that it's basic 1.0. And now we're going to start getting it connected to Wi-Fi. So to do that, we need to use some commands. And the command for configuring it for Wi-Fi is called netset, like so. And if this was a CPC 6128, you would configure it like so. Name equals CPC 6128, and then it's a comma after each parameter. SSID equals the name of your SSID, and in my case the SSID I'm using is Amstrad, and it's very important that you match the case of that SSID to this parameter here. It's case sensitive. So if your Wi-Fi router is configured with an SSID and the first letter A is in caps, it must also be caps here. So you must follow the case exactly as it's configured on the router. Otherwise it won't work. Trust me. Next one is the password. And in this case, the password I'm using is this super secret one, amstradnoob.com, and then we want to enable dhcp, so dhcp equals 1, and then we're going to supply some DNS records. So DNS1 equals 8.8.8.8, which is Google, and then DNS2 equals 8.8.4.4, which is also Google. And then finally we're going to add something to allow us to verify that we really are getting things done and we're communicating with the internet. That is, we're going to set a network time protocol, or NTP, parameter. I'm going to point it to time.windows.com. You can point it to whichever suitable network time protocol server you wish. So this is a 464. Remember I said if this was a 6128, this is how you would do the command. Now let me show you what happens when you do this on a 464. It'll say type mismatch. This we already know about. So the 464 or basic 1.0 handles RSX commands differently, or not as well as the 664 or the 6128, which have basic 1.1. So what we do to get around that problem is we assign a variable, and then we use the netset command with that variable. So let's create a variable, and we'll call it noob equals. And now we can use the copy functionality, this one here. I don't know if you can see that. Let me turn the camera a little bit. This one. We're going to use the copy ability and shift in order to copy the text that we've already written. So let's move that over a little bit. So if I press shift and then move the cursor key to where I want to copy, and then just press copy when I'm ready to copy. It'll copy all that stuff that I just typed out. And hopefully I typed it out correctly. Press enter and it says ready. So now we have assigned the noob $ variable to all these values. But the name is wrong, so let's change that. I don't want this one to be known as a 6128, it is a 464. So let's just change that, shall we? Let's copy again. Here we go. And then I'll go back and edit it before I press enter. Okay, now let's go back and change this. Okay, 464, right? So let's press enter. Great. Now the next one that we need to do is actually utilize netset along with this variable to connect to the Wi-Fi. And to do that, we'll do netset, comma, space, @ symbol, and then the name of your variable, whatever your variable was called. In this case, it's called noob, but it could be $, whatever. Press enter, and we get ready. So the next thing we can do now is verify that we actually have a connection. And to do that, you type netstat. And look at that. What this tells us now is that we've got a signal of C2, whatever that means. I think it's the signal strength. This is our IP address, 10.0.0.4, the subnet mask, the gateway, DNS settings, which we put in there, and the MAC address of the Wi-Fi adapter on the M4 board. This means it's working, but let's verify that. So I type time. Look at that. There's the time, 11 minutes past 5. There's the date, 2021-04-23. And it got that time from the NTP server that we entered up here. Right? So, that's great. That means that we're actually connected to the internet now. And we could use this to start downloading stuff immediately. And in my testing, when I started downloading from the internet, I discovered that it doesn't support HTTPS, sadly. So even though I've hosted a bunch of Amstrad games on amstradnoob.com/games, it doesn't help because my site is in HTTPS mode. So what I'll do is I will download something from, I'll just download a demo from SpinPoint's website. And SpinPoint is the website where you can, where the creator of the M4 board has all his information. And he's got loads of information. It's Duke is his name. So let's try that. To download from the internet, we need to use HTTP GET. So it's a pipe command again, and HTTP GET. And then we use a comma. And then we need to input the address. In this case, it's spinpoint.org/dattro.dsk. Right. That's what you would do if this was a 664 or a CPC 6128. But this is a 464, so again we've got that problem with Basic 1.0 not playing well with RSX commands. So to do that, we're going to assign this to a variable, and we'll call it test $ equals that, like so. Syntax error. Okay, what did we do wrong? Test $ equals spinpoint.org. Print test $. Syntax error. Nice. Okay, print noob. Yeah, that works. So what's up with the test one? Maybe it doesn't like test for some reason. Okay, let's try $. Then we'll use our shift. $. Okay, let's try this. That worked. Strange. Print $. And there we can see the address. So now let's try HTTP GET, comma, at, and then $. And that should download this file here from the spinpoint.org website, which is in HTTP mode. So it's non-HTTPS. And if we type cat, we can see that it has downloaded it, and it's 190K. So now, in order to mount that disk, because it has downloaded a disk and we don't have a disk drive here, as you can see, we now need to use the cd command. So on a 464, just do a pipe and then CD and then press enter, and you will see it just sits there waiting for you. And what it's waiting for is for you to type the name of what it is you want to CD into, and CD stands for change directory. So let's type in battro.dsk, press enter, and it says ready. So now if we type cat, we have this, which is the contents of the battro.disk, and you see it's mounted as A, which is really cool. So let's just prove that this works, and we've downloaded this from the internet, remember, using our Wi-Fi. And to do that, we'll just type run battro.bin, and boom, just like that, we've got a pretty cool demo from the Batman group. So it works. So what we've succeeded in doing here is we've formatted an SD card. We've inserted the formatted card into the M4 board. We've configured Wi-Fi on the Amstrad CPC so that every time we turn it on with this board in, we'll have access to the internet if we want it. Plus, that also means that we can conversely go to a Windows PC or a Mac or whatever and remote from them to the CPC. In other words, copy files, copy games, whatever. So this opens up a whole bunch of new capabilities, and that's what we're going to see next. So let's just turn this off and on again. Great. We still don't see any ROMs because we haven't uploaded any of them yet. But now let's jump back over to the Windows PC. Okay, so here I am on the Windows PC again, and I'm actually looking at my Netgear router page, where I was. Let's log into it. And I just want to see, does it list our CPC 464? And it does. There it is, right? And that's the MAC address which it revealed when we were configuring it, when we did the netstat command. So we know that the CPC itself is on this IP address. So what we can do is actually open up a web browser and browse to the IP address itself. And what you see is the M4 board web server. And at the moment, it's looking pretty empty because I haven't done anything with it yet. And as you can see, the ROMs are all unused. Control. We've got some options that we can do here. I haven't played with that yet. And we have settings as well. So if you want to change some of the settings that we manually put in on the CPC, then you can do it here. So for example, there's the SSID and the password and so on. So let's go and show you how to copy over games, because that's what most people want to do on their CPC. And to do that, you can upload them one at a time by clicking on Choose File, or you can drag and drop multiple games. So let's try the drag and drop method. That sounds a bit more interesting here. So if I was to go here and select everything in this folder, move it aside, and then select all, Control A, and then just drag like so. And what you can see happening here is not a whole lot. It almost looks like nothing is happening. But if I did it right, yep, see this, page unresponsive. This is exactly what I saw before. We just literally have to wait, and eventually we'll be able to refresh and we will see our games. So let's give it a moment. It's still uploading, as you can see. Wait. It's basically copying all those games that I marked onto the folder that I created, or the directory I created on the SD card. And we're doing this from the Windows PC using a web browser, which is really amazing. opens up so many possibilities here with this M4 board. So, okay, how's it going? There, look at that, just like magic. We've got a whole bunch of games. And I see they're all preceded with 2 here, so I don't know, is that a bug or is it because I broke it? It's probably a bit of both. So, anyway, we've now got a load of games on the device. Let's look at what else we can do before we go back to the Amstrad. So what we can do is we can also upload ROMs. And I also read about this on amstradnoob.com. So you will see I have a post called Adding ROMs to the ROM board, the M4 board. And in there, I'll link to this place here, CPC Wiki, where you can actually select ROMs that are out there in the field and download them. So go pick the ROMs that you want, whatever they are, Protex, Maxam, there's loads. There's just loads of ROMs here. It's really cool. And once you've found the ROMs that you want, extract them. Extract the ROM files so that you have these ROMs here. And then go into the ROMs option here in the web browser. What we're going to do is we're going to add, let's add something at slot 3. And we'll call it ProText. And let's choose that one. And it should be here. Okay, so that was ProText. We'll just click upload. And there you see ProText. Now we'll add a few more. So let's add another one at slot 4. Maxam. Choose file. And which one is Maxam? It's this one here. Upload. And as you can see, this is just so easy. So easy. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this one. Let's try Utopia. So, I mean, full marks to Duke for producing an amazing bit of hardware, but also a really nice bit of software. It works so seamlessly. So we've got 3 ROMs. Let's add another one. ROM 6, no, I shouldn't use that one because why? Because as you can see here, ROM 6 is already occupied by the M4 ROM itself. So I'll stick it in slot 2. Don't use slot 0 either because that's usually reserved for basic ROMs. So we'll use number 2 and we'll pick the last one, which is this toolkit here. And it's this one. And click upload. And now, as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ROMs, and that's it. I don't have to do anything else. I can now go back to the CPC and turn it on, and you will see what happens. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so now I'm back at the CPC, and what we're going to do is we're just going to turn it off and turn it on again. And look at that. We've got all the ROMs that we just copied over using the web browser interface on the Windows PC. And yeah, we're nearly done. We're nearly at the same sort of spot that we were when I started the video. So the only difference here is that we're still on basic 1.0. So if we look at the contents of the SD storage, you can see there's some files and folders. There's the M4 configuration folder. I wouldn't mess with that unless you're pretty advanced. There's the battery disk thing that I downloaded from the internet. And this is the games folder that I created. So remember to change directory, it's pipe cd, and then press enter on the CPC 464. And then it will prompt you to enter something. So I'll just type games. And there we are, we're in the games. And these are all the games that we copied over effortlessly from the PC onto the M4. Just like that. So let's see, can we actually run one just to prove that it works. So let's go to cd, and then we're going to enter spin disk. Spin disk .dsk. Press enter, and let's do a cat. That looks like spin dizzy to me, so let's try running it and see, does it work. Spin diz. Press enter. Look at this. Isn't this amazing? Wow. That is amazing. So, and there's Spin Dizzy. A very frustrating but rather excellent game, which I hacked back in the day. I think it was 1988. Can't remember. Okay, so what have we done here? There's one remaining thing to do, and Duke recommended to me that if you're going to use this on a 464, which I am, that you should upgrade the basic ROM from basic 1.0 to basic 1.1, and you can do that with this. To do it, we're going to actually download it from his website. Yeah, okay, so we're going to assign a variable, $, equals spin.org/cpc /rom up 464.bin, and make sure that you follow the case exactly here, because otherwise it won't work properly on the CPC. So press enter, and now we're going to get that file, and that's http get, comma, space, @ and then the variable. That should get a 33K file, and it did. And to run it, all you have to do is this, run, and the name of the file, ROMUP 464.bin, then press enter, and it will upgrade and tell you to press the M4 reset, and then it will start looking pretty weird, but don't panic. So this is what's going to happen. It's doing the upgrade. It says press M4 reset, which we're going to do in a moment. It didn't do the same behavior that it did the first time. Interesting. Okay, so it says press M4 reset, which is this button here. So I'm going to press it. And look at that. Basic 1.1. So what I've done now is, following the guides that I've blogged about, I've basically copied a whole bunch of games onto this. It took minutes. I've upgraded the basic ROM from 1.0 to 1.1, which now means that you'll be able to use the commands without having to use variables. We've added some additional ROMs, and you can have up to 32 ROMs. This is absolutely amazing. If you haven't got an M4 board yet, why haven't you? It's brilliant. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please consider liking it and subscribe. See you in the next one.